Okay, hello everyone. Good morning. You're all great to come up early this morning. Has everybody had breakfast? Or are we pre or post breakfast for this group? Post. Okay, great. So everybody's nourished and good to go. So I'm Carol Vallone, Chairman and CEO of Wimba, and I'll be talking to you today with Annie Ceccatelli. Many of you know Annie, our VP for Product.
Hey everyone, good morning.
And I'd like to introduce all the people who are glaring in your faces right now with the orange shirts, and some of them not, but the rest of the Wimba team. Barb? All right, let's bounce to the back. Okay, great. So please spend time with all of us. We're all here for you and looking forward to interacting with all of you. So what's new at Wimba? Well, one thing I think many of you know, we're launching the Wimba Collaboration Suite 6.0 here at the conference. So we'll be showing you some features during this presentation, but also want to invite you to come to our booth. It's number 312. We're across from Blackboard. Many of our customers are presenting there, which is exciting for us, and we hope that you'll stop down after this presentation to get more details. Another thing that we're very proud of this past year is that Wimba won the SIAA 2009 CODI Award for the Best Software Education Solution. Many of you know it's one of the best-known peer recognition awards in the industry, and we were one of 850 entrants, so we're particularly proud of that award. It's also been an award-winning year for many of our customers, and that's a theme for us this year, and I'll be talking about that further. And the other thing that's new at Wimba right now that you may have noticed is me personally. And actually, I want to say Barbara Ross as well. Many of you know I was the CEO of WebCT, and Barbara was the COO, until we sold the company to Blackboard in 2006. So what you may not know, though, is that I've been on the Wimba board for the past 2.5 years. I'm the chair of the Wimba board, so I've been very involved with the company. And when I was given the opportunity to jump in and run the company, I jumped at that immediately. It's really interesting for me to be back again. I believe Wimba represents the future of educational technology, and I believe it passionately, which is what led me back. And it's really nice for me to be here among many of my old friends from the industry and meeting and reconnecting with them. And also, I'm very interested in meeting those of you who I haven't yet met. So why am I so passionate about Wimba? I believe that Wimba addresses the strongest and most pressing needs of educators today and will be an integral part of the future of education. And why do I think that? It's because I believe that Wimba represents a key success factor in meeting the needs of the 21st century learners. So you're looking at digital natives who demand to be plugged in and connected 24/7. We're looking at job changers who are displaced by the economy, who are juggling home, kids, school, and if they're lucky, they're in a job. We also believe that we're an important solution for managing the 21st century educational enterprise. Never have colleges and universities been asked to do more with less. We're all feeling the recessionary pressure right now. Many of us are involved in cost cutting while maintaining service levels. Many of us are also increasing revenue, trying to do that without sacrificing quality. We're increasing capacity without increasing plant, and we're being asked to do more of these challenges with less resources than we've ever been asked to do before. And we believe that Wimba can be a part of that solution. We've got some really nice examples we want to walk through to give you ways to think about using Wimba to address some of these issues. And let's not forget why we got into the business of education in the first place. While we've got these concerns about meeting the needs of students and managing the enterprise, we're also thinking about building and supporting a vibrant 21st century community of learners. So I've used this graphic because I think it's interesting, and some of you that go way back with WebCT might remember this from our very, very early ad campaigns. Yeah, Mike's shaking his head. Alan, you probably remember as well. I'm using it because it represents a place where students learn from students, faculty learn from faculty, researchers learning from researchers, a place where knowledge is built and shared, in settings important to think about with Wimba that are both formal and informal, and a place where the sum is greater than its parts. So with Wimba Solutions, we believe that the best colleges and universities are creating learning communities, whether they're residential communities for traditional age students, commuting schools with lots of older students completing degrees or supporting a job, or other institutions focus on pure distance students, or a mix of the above. With Wimba, you can support learning anytime, anywhere, and any way. And one of the things I think is important to think about is while historically Wimba has been used in somewhat more of a distance learning focus, many of our customers are using Wimba to support their students in face-to-face classrooms, as well as in hybrid models, in both active formal learning classroom settings and informal collaboration, whether it be study groups, tutoring environments, or actually some of the student social activities. So I want to invite you to think about that as I go through some of these examples and how you might be using and also how you might be extending Wimba. And for those of you, many of you here are just considering Wimba, think about a broad-based application for the student experience. So here's a look at today's higher ed students. I don't need to tell you, as a result of this lecture, press has shown that today's students expect a lot from us. They're focused on results. They expect convenience. They expect control in their education. They expect to be able to attend to the business of their education online as well, whether they're in a dorm or on campus, an apartment down the street, a home in a nearby town, or whether they're halfway around the world. And it's interesting when you think about some of the things that the students are faced with today. They're in the worst employment market. They're looking for ways to get out of the debt that they're incurring right now while they're in school. The thing that's most staggering to me, if you look at the fourth bullet down, by the time students today are 38, they'll have 10 to 14 jobs. So you're faced with a situation right now in higher education to really turn these students out continually and retrain them for new careers. And it's an interesting thing to think about as the pressure increases on you on how to get them through and re-educated and back out into the workforce. So what's interesting for us as we think about some of these things is that if you look at the bottom group here using technology every day, what the students are doing, what Wimba does is give you an opportunity to meet the students where they are in the way that they like to focus. So they're used to the live, online, interactive models. They're used to getting answers right away, and they're used to being very collaborative. And that's an approach that Wimba really addresses, which is very different than, sacrilegious for me to say this, the WebCT world that we brought you before in terms of an asynchronous model. So this is the next step in considering the way students collaborate, the way they interact, the activities that they're doing, and the devices that they're using. So let's pause for a minute and jump over to Annie to give us an example of some of the applications of Wimba. Annie?